Hello and welcome back to another Fintech Focus TV with me, Toby Babb. Today, I'm absolutely delighted to welcome back onto the show Travis Schwab from Eventus. Travis, how are you?
Toby, great. Wonderful to be back. Lovely to see you. Less of you. You look fantastic. So really appreciate the time today.
It's been too long since having you back on the show. We were just talking beforehand. It's been about a year since we last had Eventus on, and what a year it's been for you guys. I mean, rarely out the press, loads and loads of
7 years, 7 years in Eventus years packed within each year. I think we live dog years at Eventus.
Eventus dog years.
Exactly.
Absolutely. It's and it's a phenomenal story. We'll get onto all of that soon. Just give for those of you who haven't watched it for the last year, the viewership has grown over that period. So there'll be loads of people who are stumbling into to Travis and Eventus for the first time. Travis, give us a brief overview of Eventus Systems and what you guys are doing.
Yeah, no, appreciate that. So we're a reg tech software company, Toby. We consider ourselves headquartered globally, so we're all over the planet. We've been distributed since we started. We provide, fin risk apps for capital markets firms, and so primarily within the trade surveillance space, market risk, AML, and kind of algo monitoring space. And so we do this across asset classes across the globe for about 75 clients, ranging from exchanges to proprietary trading firms to banks to buy sides and brokers. And so continuing to grow and expand as quickly as feasible and intelligently as possible.
Well, it seems to be working a treat for you at the moment, because as I said before, it's been rarely a week where Eventus haven't been in the press for some sort of good reason or other over that sort of period. When we first spoke a year or so ago, we were talking about the rapid growth of the business. We've been talking about scale. We've been talking about you moving through COVID and bringing people in all around the world who you hadn't had the chance to meet before. And it was a stunning story of sort of rapid growth through a really difficult time in a marketplace that had been in high demand. Since then, where to start? We've had £30 million worth of Series B funding. We've had numerous different partnerships that have been growing. You've been seeing significant growth over here in the EMEA with some senior hires and everything like that. Tell us a little bit about the last year.
Yeah, no, lovely. And just, mild correction, not pounds, but dollars. So
dollars. Yeah,
pounds,
I'll take that.
Pounds would have been great. I should do that on the next round, but no, this was $30 million on our Series B. So yeah, that really was obviously a signature event for us. We had done a Series A in kind of February, really at the beginning of the pandemic in February of 2020. And the idea was to kind of, again, put our heads down. We were a small, very scrappy software company at the beginning of that process. We did our A with the idea to kind of put our heads down for 2 years and to scale. We had kind of come up for air after a year and things were tracking exactly the way we wanted to. So we accelerated the B. And the idea, again, is to keep growing this entity as it relates to what our clients and are demanding from us. And so really did the B opportunistically, not because we were needing to do it. So a very nice opportunity for us to work with exactly the kind of partners that we wanted to work with as we continue to grow this business globally across really all measures of the business. And so that was the signature bit. We closed that a couple months ago. Santana Growth was our lead wonderful fintech investor, reg tech investor out of New York. DRW Investments was a big participant in that round as well, along with our existing Series A investors. Really, we had wonderful participation across the board. And the idea was take that money in, again, put our heads down and scale this company up to where we can continue to supply our existing clients and grow our spaces really across the board, across the globe. And that really starts with people. You cannot scale unless you have the right talent to do so. And so that is outside of the B, that has occupied really the bulk of my time, is making sure we have the team that has been there, done that. And also taking into account all of the things that we're trying to do from a company standpoint across the globe, across these different tactical areas and apps. And so that really continues to occupy my time as we grow, as we build out our equivalent go-to-market strategy and people acquisition as we do in client acquisition. And that investment, we just had our our global head of talent acquisition start today. Actually, it's a banner day, and we're really investing in the people acquisition because there's a war on talent globally. And for us, we want to continue this culture that we've built out over the last 7-ish years. And it's making sure that when they get here, they're excited to be here. We run a very transparent organization. They can come up to speed as quickly as possible, and we can take in all of that great information that they've acquired over their histories and put it into our company. And so we spend a lot of time trying to figure that out. And we're not, it's a messy, bloody affair that, we're trying to do so much so quickly, and for us to be, get better at it, not make the same mistakes twice, and to get, optimal at our decision making really occupies the bulk of my time right now.
And you've been making some pretty high profile and good hires across the globe as well. Talk to us a little bit about that. So this has just been a strategy to go out and find and acquire some people from the very best of the best in the industry, from what I've been seeing.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And it's part of this, maturation that every company goes through. We're not unique in how we do it, but we've run a very flat organization for a long time, which is, I think, we can move very quickly, but it also is, there's a lot of people doing tactical block and tackling things. And we also, for us to keep hitting our goals going forward, we do need people to be able to think strategically. And they haven't had the resources to be able to do that up until recently. And so for us, that, organizational design, making sure that we are putting people in the right spots, that they have demonstrable ways to products and things to deliver, and then to be able to scale that is really important. So we've really done this across the board. One of the key hires that we've been making, Ollie Cadman, who's a veteran from the industry. He's our chief product officer. For us, product has really become not a religion, but really getting into becoming a much stronger product organization, we think is really just going to benefit the clients that much better. And so Ollie's really been with us less, I think, than 2 months now, but we've put a ton on him already, making waves in a wonderful way. And so, and that really is also just part of our commitment to Europe and that Middle Eastern area. We have a decent footprint in APAC, or that region, for the last couple of years, at least a couple of years. But EMEA, we over the last year, we've really been trying to plant our flag and build out our infrastructure and people and resources and everything else, even though we've had clients there for a number of years. And so that's a really, really great opportunity for us to grow our capabilities there, to be able to support our existing clients, and then obviously try to grow that. So we're really looking across the organization at our various areas to bring in the best. And Ollie's a good example of that.
So look, you mentioned the war on talent there, and this may well be news to you, but on Monday, the 29th of November, which will just be before this is released, you will be announced as one of the top 1% workplaces in the Financial Technologist magazine, I'm pleased to say.
That's wonderful. That's great news.
So another bit of a press for you to be trumpeting about over the next couple of weeks. But look, that's a really important aspect, isn't it? It takes a great workplace to attract the best talent in it, and you guys have been really, really attentive to that in a very, very fast phase of growth. Talk to us about some of the things you guys have done well to make it a great place to work.
Yeah, we really try, and it really starts with the team here, and then the people that they're trying to recruit into this organization. Everyone has a roll up their sleeves mentality, get to work. It becomes the fact that we are very transparent when we talk to people about this process, that you're going to work very hard here, but you have a immediate impact. There is, we want you to come in here and change things for the better. And we try to put that into play, and we run very transparently. And so the same board deck that I give to the board on a quarterly basis, I provide to the team on an all hands meeting a couple of weeks after, obviously outside of confidential information, but there is zero difference in the type of information being passed along all the constituencies within our organization, which I think is really empowering. And so that's what we are trying to do, is everyone that we hire are owners, and it's not just, you have options, but I want you to act like an owner, make decisions quickly. It's okay to make mistakes. I try to make less mistakes than I do right decisions every day, but everyone makes mistakes, and we're trying to empower people to make decisions. And that's one of the things I'm really focused on within this company, is making sure we don't have 50,000 meetings every week and there's no decisions being made. Is we need to give people the context to run quickly and as intelligently as they can and make decisions and go forward. It's an art that we're not great at. We're still iterating on it. We will always iterate on it, but we're trying to bring in a whole bunch of talented people to help us get to that process every day. And so that's how I think about things. I think that resonates really well. We've been distributed since we've started this company, and so I think that also resonates really well. We've enabled ourselves to work distributedly from the entire life cycle of our clients and support and everything else. And so that, I think, has served us. Luckily, it wasn't some prescient thought on my part to, hey, let's make sure we avoid a pandemic issue. It's disruptive. That was just, how can we save money on rent going forward? And the tools were there.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And so the tools were just being adopted at the time. And so it's worked out all right. And so I think that is now a USP for us as compared to maybe some other companies that are trying to pull people back into the offices. That being said, I was just in London last week, and it's awesome to be able to sit down with your team, break bread, talk into the same room, and have that. And so if we can, find a way to bridge that gap, reach out and touch someone when you can, go out and visit people when everything and is safe and you feel comfortable, do it, we will. But I think that distributed nature of the world that we live in is really helped us going forward.
100%. And I think there's so many things you say there about sort of working around people, the features of the companies who are listed in that magazine. You look at communication and transparency and trust that's built up from leadership through to the team. That's important. You talk about the quality of people that are around you, as being critically important. There's so many things there. You talk there about autonomy and being able to add to the purpose of the organization, which are there. There's themes there which you talk about that really, to me, are quite easily said but rarely implemented. And that sort of common sense approach to how you're doing things is probably testament to the growth that you've seen across the business. I also want to talk about the crypto crusade you're on, because you're doing some really interesting stuff, which is another feature of a great workplace for me. Companies there that are doing things that are changing the game a little bit, and doing work that's really interesting, really cool, and got some noise to it. Crypto is a space where we're seeing massive noise at the moment. It's been the sort of mot du jour of 2021. I don't see that stopping in 2022. If anything, the digital asset space is only going to go even more ballistic, I would suggest, over the next 12 months. Tell us about how Eventus and you guys have managed to be at the center of all of that.
Yeah, for us, it's just a critical asset class that is continuing to evolve, and it's such a unique opportunity and time that we live in, that you see a market structure evolve before your eyes, and we don't see that very often, and it's evolving, I think, faster than Moore's law in a lot of ways. It's just the pace at which this asset class evolves is really unprecedented and wonderful to be a part. And we're trying to not just participate, but actually guide that evolve. That evolutionary process. And so for us, we've been in cryptos and the digital asset space for going on 4 years. And it started with, one of the largest, crypto exchanges on the planet in Coinbase. And they did a blog about using us a couple of weeks ago, actually talking about how they use us for their trade surveillance. And that really was the client number one. And we've really created a wonderful base of clients in that space now across the planet. And that is a critical part of the ecosystem that, within the exchanges and the different brokers in that space. And there's new participants all the time that we are really engaging with at all levels, from regulators to exchanges to proprietary trading firms to new brokers, new intermediaries. We think we can be helpful to each one of those participants as they find their way in this ecosystem. And there hopefully is some regulatory clarity, which today there isn't really across the planet. There is, points of guidance that you can pull from, and that we really try to. We have a big regulatory affairs group that we've been investing in for the past several years, and we're really trying to take all of that these tidbits of guidance that we're getting, especially within the crypto space, and trying to help inform then how our clients should think about the systems, the processes, the procedures that they need to be thinking about and considering, because there is an aspect of interpretation in this space, and how we inform the software, how we help install the software, how we help tune the software is really informed by that interpretation. And so we're really trying to capture all of these pieces of information as we help these firms navigate a fairly fluid space now. And so, one of the ways that we're trying to do that is partner up with the best of the best. And we just announced last week a partnership what we call Project 10, which would be a part of this crusade that we're on. And, we're partnering up with firms like TRM Labs and Nota Bene to really provide a unique platform that gives clients, potential prospects, one place, one platform to handle all of their compliance and surveillance needs. And, it really is trying to pull in all these different data sets, all these great vendors that we've worked with to bring a simplified way of looking at their risks, because they're moving and shifting. And so our clients are uneasy about it. We keep trying to, pull in information all over the world, but it's a dynamic, easily one of the most dynamic asset classes that we've come across. In addition to other ones that we have, there's a lot of exciting things happening in fixed income now. We're just, finding, the little signs happening in FX of a different kind of shifting market structure as well. So it's not just the crypto place that's moving quickly, but even some of the traditional asset classes that are monster are starting to shift to a little bit different of a market structure, where we think we're well positioned to do. So there's a lot to do.
It's a really interesting world, isn't it? Yeah, exactly. You're exactly right. And this with it creates so many different opportunities, and we're seeing so many different shifts and people who are specializing in various different areas. I think what you guys have done really, really well, and this goes back to the show we did, the debate show with yourself and Oliver over at VoxSmart and Brian Hunt over at Cloud9. That sort of the focus there probably ahead of time, and I think that that collaboration has sped up even more so. Was talking about the sort of opportunities there are to collaborate and to form partnerships that can give people in the space far better service. You guys have been at the real forefront of the thinking around that, and really excelled by bringing in people and making sure that the end users there is able to seamlessly onboard and bring in the right sort of systems to allow them to have the best sort of play for for their business. Tell us a little bit about your thoughts there.
Yeah, it's such a challenge for our clients, depending on the size of the onboarding process is more difficult the larger the client gets, really. And for a variety of reasons, they have challenges. Our prospects or clients have challenges onboarding new vendors. And so whether it's they have a bunch of existing tech that has a lot of process and infrastructure around it and investment, or regulatory requirements about onboarding new vendors, or whatever that is, there's just been a ton of challenges about onboarding. And we've thought about this for years now, especially as a smaller vendor and entrance into the marketplace. How do you help our firms? How do you help our clients bring us in when we have, what we would say is a better solution and able to prove that? And we've had interesting partnerships with firms like VoxSmart and Cloud9, where we're trying to run off the same paper, for instance, or the master services agreement, to where they can find the benefits of working with multiple vendors who are great in their respective spaces without having to onboard that many more vendors. And so we've done that with firms like VoxSmart and Cloud9. We're doing that the same with our Project 10 effort with TRM and Nota Bene, that if a firm is a client of TRM, they don't have to repaper with us. They don't have to do any of those other actions. We will make sure that we can conform to their paper, and we're a schedule on the back of that. So we're really trying to eradicate or remove those friction points from a onboarding standpoint, to where clients can view us as, are we a better solution for their needs today? And then let's remove that friction of the onboarding and just look at the unique selling proposition. We're partnering up with some other big infrastructure providers that hopefully we'll be able to announce fairly soon to do the same thing. That, people, there's big, kind of fintech, regtech infrastructure providers in the space. They've worked with, large organizations and are hosting that infrastructure. So if we can, run off that master services agreement, host that our product within that infrastructure, that really should alleviate a lot of challenges. And then we're talking about these nice, clean integrations between these platforms to where you're getting the best of all of these experts in their various applications and not having to worry about, finding some holistic one size fits all for everything. And because we really think it's hard to do these problems well. And so pick your space: trade surveillance, money laundering, transaction, whatever, e-coms surveillance. These are hard problems to do really well individually, let alone trying to do it across all these various areas. And so when we can remove that friction between vendors, and you can pull out the best of each of those into a single platform, we think that's the best result for the client. And that seems like it's resonating in our engagements with our end clients. And so we hope, to continue to get better at this. It's not easy. We're trying to lever each other's sales forces. We're trying to do all sorts of different things. And, I think it's kind of a new model to work from and to keep everyone really motivated at the same pace, because they have their own product that they're trying to get done. But then you really want to try to keep everyone aligned where we can. And it takes a lot of work, care and feeding, but we think that's kind of the model that's resonating really well, and the model going forward.
When it comes down to that sort of central tenement, doesn't it, of making sure that your customers have got the product and the systems that they want to excel with. And I think you guys have always been good at doing that. I'd love to talk about this. This is one of these sort of subjects that we can spend hours and hours on. I know you're on the clock today, which is part of the growth of the business and what's happening with everything at the moment. So we've got a bite-sized Travis for us today. But what's that bite itself has been absolutely packed with brilliant stuff again, as always. It's always an absolute pleasure having you on the show. And Travis, it's brilliant to hear how everything's going. If people want to find out a little bit more about you, if there's partners out there who think actually we could utilize some of the things there that you've spoken about, if there's clients there who are saying this is a problem I need to look at, digital exchanges who are there and chomping at the bit for this sort of solution, what's the best way of them doing it, and who should be in touch with you at the moment?
Yeah, no, I really appreciate that, Toby. EventusSystems.com. You can obviously go to the website, info@Eventus Systems. You can send us an email. We're happy to say hello and say, try to help you with your needs. So we're really excited about this space, really excited about the content you guys continue to create. Really appreciate the time as well to be on the show.
Always a pleasure. Travis, thanks so much for coming on, and thank you all for watching. We will see you very soon on another episode of Fintech Focus TV. Thanks a lot.